What's up, everybody? This is my Chaos as Lich guide for the campaign. I played Hunters until level 9. I wiped on Draven like 15-20 times, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna reroll to my second choice, which was the Essence Drain Contagion Lich build. And I'm having an absolute blast. Let's have a look at the skill gems here. The basic playstyle is that you put a Contagion and an Essence Drain on the same enemy, and once then an enemy dies, it spreads basically the damage over time component of the Contagion and the Essence Drain on all the other enemies. And that stacking amount of damage should be enough to just kill an enemy within 1-2 seconds. That just spreads like wildfire. It's super satisfying. In order to improve this, I have Chain on my Essence Drain, just so it makes it a bit easier to target mobs, because you need to have a mob die with Contagion and Essence Drain on it, and sometimes targeting and casting is a bit tricky. So I really prefer Chain for quality of life. And then I've got Swift Affliction, basically just more damage and quicker. And then later on we got Considered Casting, the same thing, more damage. And the less casting speed doesn't really affect you that much because it's damage over time anyway. For Contagion I got, as I said, Unleash. Makes it much easier to target. And also the way this works is, if you've Essence Drained a target and then you cast Contagion, it automatically targets the monster that is affected by Essence Drain. So it makes it much easier to apply it afterwards. And then I've got Magnified Effects just for, again, easier spreading and also easier targeting. Then at level 9 you're going to get your Curse. That's going to be obviously Despair, because you do chaos damage. And the fun thing about Despair is that now you can have Decaying Hex, which is again in the chaos damage over time idea, is that it adds a dot based on your intelligence. It's very nice in the early game. And this also means that now it spreads your Despair to other monsters when they die of Contagion. And then Impending Doom again as another damage source if the curse does expire. The one issue about this build is perhaps single target embossing, but luckily we got a supporting totem for that with Dark Effigy. Basically it bombards enemies that are afflicted by chaos dots. And so this is nice, you just put it down, it slams it, you can run around and dodge while this totem damages the monsters. Got some more hit damage with Controlled Destruction, and then we got Arcane Temple here just for more casting speed. The first spirit gem that you're gonna pick up that I prefer is Withering Presence. Oh, I probably have to update this, I don't get a spirit gem. And yeah, this just adds stacks of Withering Presence, which means increased chaos damage. And Persistence on there just to make the effect last longer so it stacks higher. Then, something fun here. I got Blasphemy here. And this is basically, it applies an aura buff around you. Or it applies a curse as an aura around you. Now, I got very lucky now. I found a chest with some spirit on there. And basically, once I got my 60 spirit from the campaign in Act 3, I figured, you know what, I can run Blasphemy with an extra defensive layer with Enfeeble. And this way, when monsters get very close to me, get targeted by Enfeeble and do a lot less damage. And that's honestly has been really helping out with me. I've got here 2 more chests that I found with decently high spirit. So I think it's not super difficult to find them during the campaign. And I really enjoy the playstyle of just not having to think about it. It's just always around me, as you can see here. Later on, might be cool to put Temporal Chains in there too. You probably want to have to go Whispers of Doom with that. So that's this passive. It reduces the activation delay of curses, so you probably want to get some nodes in the tree that have increased activation rate. And then here for my other skills, I've got Shield Charge. I think with how difficult the game is right now, I really prefer running a shield. And you can put it in your second weapon skill set if you want to, but I'm just equipping it all the time. And I've got here with martial tempo for so it goes quicker, and then cooldown recovery down with ingenuity. Super useful just running around in a campaign, zooming around, shield charging. Let's have a look at the talent tree. Okay, so there we go. This is what I got right now. I am in Act 4, but I have made a max roll guide. Yeah, there we go. So I've got a max roll leveling guide right here, and it's got everything you need. Complete passive tree for the end of the campaign and the beginning. So what are we going to do in the beginning in the passive tree? We're just going to go up here. We're going to take all these minion damage and spell damage nodes. Then we're going to take some cast speed and some damage here. And then I would just rush damage as much as possible. This is the most important thing in the campaign early on. So we're going to go to this cluster to get this more spell damage. Then we're going to go here. This is amazing, but you're going to get chaos damage and skill factoration. That just adds a lot of quality of life. Probably run towards this cluster to get a little bit more defenses and chaos damage. Then you're going to go up here. Again, chaos damage. And then by the end of Act 3, you're probably going to be somewhere here. And this is going to add +1 level of all scale skills. Again, a lot of fucking damage. That's super nice. There we go, the cruel skill tree. Now this is my idea of what I'm going to be at when I'm at the end of the campaign / beginning of mapping. So you see here the red and the green nodes. These are your weapon skill points. The red one is just part of your basic tree, and then green is going to be on my second weapon set, and that's going to be for activation of curses. So all of these is for curses. And the red ones are just damage. So what are we going to do here? We skip this part and we're going to focus a little bit more on these nodes. You need some stun threshold because you can get stunned a lot easier. And also just energy shield. We want some more defense. So we're going to take this cluster and that cluster for more defenses. There's a nice energy shield node here. And I think this is basically going to be the idea. And then also what we're going to be running here is Whispers of Doom. I think it's going to be great with, if you have some more spirit on your gear, you can run maybe an extra curse as an aura, so temporal chains, and hopefully that will make the mapping a bit smoother because the monsters really run fucking hard at you. If you can then scale curse effect, I'm going to have to see how that works, but I think it's going to be very juicy. Here's got all the information about the skills and the support gems. This is a basic, just some gear that you want to focus on. If you got some exalt orbs, maybe you can buy this unique item. It's not very expensive and it adds a shit ton of spell damage. I think it'll be great for leveling. This one might be a bit expensive, but I think it'll be good later on with some ascendancy points. Oh yeah, let's go to the ascendancy points. So what we got here is, I don't think they're all super powerful, not during the campaign. They scale much more in the late game. But we're basically just going to go in this direction first, Soulless Form. This basically just sort of doubles your mana regen when you're leveling in the campaign. And then later on, this might be useful if you can stack more energy shield. And then basically have 10% damage reduction with this node. And then I think after that, I'm going to go and just get an extra jewel slot for my third ascendancy. Later on, I'm not sure which direction. I think what would be fun is to go Dominion over Flesh. You can apply an additional curse, more curses, and hexproof enemies. That will be fun. And yeah, also you get some explosion, so maybe a bit more curse-focused damage during mapping, but I'll have to see. Alright, we got some basic information here, like some notes, right, on what to spend your exalted orbs on early on, stats to look out for, passive 3, skill rotation, etc. It's quite concise. I mean, it's just a leveling guide, right? It's not super difficult. Just want to give it to you straight. And yeah, that's it. Let's have a quick look at the items, right? So what are you looking for? The main thing is you want damage in the campaign, right? You just want to smack everything in the face and keep running. So the most important thing is plus level of chaos or spell skills. Now I got lucky with this one. I just bought it. It had +3 all level chaos spell skills. I found it in a vendor. I just slammed some exalts on it and that's it, right? But like I found this one earlier on. Again, just keep checking your vendor. If you see +2 all chaos or spell skill gems in the vendor you buy it, you slam some exalts and you're good to go. If you're lucky, you can find a nice focus with plus all spell skills. It's nice, but you know, personally, with the amount of damage the monsters do, I prefer wearing a shield. I ran around with this one for a long time, right? It's got increased block chance, and I just use it for my shield charge. But you know, that's 38% block chance. That's a lot of damage mitigated. And I think also it's super useful if you can find a chest somewhere. You can buy it or find it with some spirit. Keep an eye out for it, because that way you can run a blasphemy with temp chains or enfeeble. What do we got for gear? Just basic stuff, life resistances, etc. Right? This is a super bad belt. I have to change this, but I do like the armor base. For boots, you're just looking for movement speed and resistances and life, maybe, if you got a decent shield I found. Now, this is one thing I bought for a couple of exalts. +1 all spell skills. I think it's just going to be super useful for more damage. It had some attributes on it, and I just slammed again some exalts on it. Yeah, all this other stuff is just basic gear. Alright, now that's it really. I'm having a blast, so I'm gonna go back to farming, and I'm gonna hopefully get to the maps at the end of the day. Anyways, I hope that works. See you later.